a locomotive engineer does. How is this different than a railroad engineer, and what does a conductor do? Well, I know what a locomotive engineer does. A locomotive engineer is a person that drives a train. Now you know if you didn't know earlier. How many of you hate being stopped by a train? Well, if you do, then you would hate to be stopped by me in Alaska. That is where I live and work. The trains that I drive can be anywhere from 1 mile to 2 miles long or even longer. The trains that I drive contain important supplies to the townspeople of Alaska who need them to survive the tough Alaskan winters. You know, if I don't get where I need to be, then people actually might die. So my job can be very stressful. How many of you knew that a 1,000-pound moose could actually cause me to derail? And also, how many of you knew that ice that builds up over the track that's strong as concrete could actually also cause me to derail unless removed? How many live where it doesn't snow or get too cold very often? Or outside? Well, if you don't like the cold, then don't move up to Alaska, because the temperatures outside during the winter months could get down to 50 below zero or even colder. And about 4 months out of the year is the summertime, which the temperatures only get up to about 70 degrees. How many of you knew that the cold is harder on everything? The locomotives, the tracks, and the train cars. It's also harder on yourself because it can cause frostbite and death. As you can see, I had 3 careers, I had 3 careers I could have chosen from. Obviously, I'm a locomotive engineer. I also chose to be pro football and law enforcement. The reason why I chose that I had law enforcement and locomotive engineer was because I like to help people, and in my job, I get to help a lot of people. And I had pro football because making big bucks and being on TV actually seems like it would not be worth it at all. Opportunity cost is a valuable alternative that one is forced to give up in order to get his or her first choice. How many of you are teachers out there? Well, unlike you, I don't get sick days right now, so I have to work. So if I'm cold, then I have to work. And also, I have to work holidays too sometimes. And I also have to work 12-hour shifts straight, which is not as good. Which is okay, but it makes my job not as good. It makes a long time. And also that my career opportunity cost was law enforcement and pro football. Working for the railroad though isn't all that bad. Actually, I get good pay and I get good health benefits. And another thing that's nice about my job is that I get to help so many people that I am their lifeline for off-graders who need me to get into town and haul everything from their houses to their food to everything in their houses. Being at the bottom of the totem pole, you get sometimes the worst hours and sometimes even the worst pay. Another thing that isn't the best is that they can call me out at any time to go and drive, even if it's at 2 o'clock in the morning. As you can see, starting out as a locomotive engineer, I get $40,000 a year. But over time, I can make upwards to $160,000 a year. Now take 40,000 divided by 12, that equals $3,333.33. And you can also see here how I'm my student estimate, my parent estimate, my actual budget, and my rationale. For housing, I thought I would spend around $500 a month for an apartment, but my dad thought I'd spend more around $950. I actually spent $900 on an apartment in Alaska. You can also see here that I thought I'd pay $125 a month to pay off my cars, but my dad thought I'd spend more around $325, which is actually I spend $410 a month to pay off my Police Ranger and my snowmobile. As you see on my pie graph, that I make, the most I spend a month on is housing, which is $900 a month. And then I have to pay taxes, which is $761.98 a month. Then I have to pay discretionary. Then after that, I have to pay $410 a month for my snowmobile and Police Ranger, which is about 14% a month of my monthly budget. One thing that's nice about Alaska is that all of the game that is there, so I can go out and catch my own dinner by hunting. Well, so that's nice because I dropped my food bill down to $225 a month, which is nice to have some extra money to put in the bank. Some people don't think that having diesel mechanicing under their belt would be any good, or to be a locomotive engineer, but it could actually save our lives out there if the locomotive shut down, and they shut down, so they don't work. They don't work, and then so I could fix it. So for me being a diesel mechanic could actually help me fix the locomotive. So for doing that, that's $100 a month, which is about 3% from my biograph. And also my cell phone bill, which is my utilities, is also $100 a month for my smartphone from Verizon. Last thing that I haven't talked about yet that's on my biograph is that I have 1% employee, which is about $45 a month. With every job you get some trade-offs, and some of the things I didn't get right away is time off, holidays, and get holidays off too. Also, I didn't get any sick days, so I have to work for all of those, which is okay, which is not bad. With every job you do, you have to fill out a resume, and if you have gone to college, you can put that down as your resume. I went to Salina Tech to be diesel mechanic, which, like I said, could save our lives when we're out there in the cold, and the engine shut down for no reason. That's why my Bachelor's of Science degree in diesel mechanics could just save my lives. Another thing that you'd also need to write when you get a job is a letter of application. As you can see, since I'm a locomotive engineer and I live in Alaska, I wrote to the Alaskan Railroad, to Mr. Hunter Larson, as a person I wrote to become one of his locomotive engineers. My 5 websites that I had used was BLS.gov/OOH, which is the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is where I got a lot of my information and found my job. And then that was mappingyourfuture.com, and I had also used careercafe.com and driveyourlife.com, which were just different websites with different information about what my life would look like. And then thiscouldbeyourlife.com was the last one I had used, which was like a reality thing, what could actually be what your life looks like. On my board, I have 3 different articles about what the railroad is doing to help with things. One of them is that they're putting locomotives in during the winter. They had built a shop big enough that they put the locomotives in during the winter, so it cuts down on fuel and it keeps air pollution down because they don't have to sit there and idle. So that saves them about $24,000 a month in diesel fuel. And so when you can come up here later, you can see my other two articles I have found. So being a locomotive engineer is good because I get to help people that may need me 24/7. I also get to haul freight and supplies to the town of Alaska. But the best thing is that I get to help people. So, if you're ever in Alaska, the Alaska-American frontier, so you will now know where to find me on the Alaskan Railroad. Thank you for listening.